We're going to take the RX 7800 XT recently released by AMD and put it head-to-head against the RTX 4070 from Nvidia. Now, AMD's claims are that the 7800 XT is absolutely going to destroy the 4070, and we're going to find out if that's the case. We're going to test the games at 4K and 1440p with no ray tracing and no DLSS or FSR, just to get the raw performance of both these graphics cards. We're testing the cards with the i7-12700K and 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM at 6000 megahertz. First up, we tested it in Starfield. We know this is an AMD release, so the AMD GPU is probably going to win, but just for kicks and giggles, we decided to test it anyway. And at 4K with ultra settings, no FSR, no DLSS, the 7800 XT won about 55 to 60 FPS versus only about 45 FPS for the 4070. In 1440p on Starfield, the 7800 XT got anywhere from like 75 to 100 FPS, whereas the 4070 barely got 60. Warzone 2.0 was one of the games that AMD claimed would absolutely just kick tail against the 4070, and they were definitely right. At 4K with no FSR, Warzone 2.0 got 100 FPS with the RX 7800 XT, and we only got around 75 FPS on the same settings with no DLSS with the 4070. In 1440p on ultra settings though, we got over 150 FPS with the 7800 XT, and we only got around like 120 with the 4070. Halo Infinite is still a game that's pretty demanding these days, and is getting more and more popular, but at 4K on high settings, we didn't do ultra for this because it is a competitive shooter and it's such a demanding game. We just went with high settings to kind of see where the middle ground was. And on high settings, 4K Halo got 90 FPS with the RX 7800 XT and only 75 FPS with the 4070. At 1440p, the 7800 XT got around 140 FPS and the 4070 only got 110 FPS. Now, in games like Apex Legends and Fortnite, the GPUs were much closer. In Apex Legends, on max settings at 4K, both GPUs got around 150 to 160 FPS. And at 1440p, both of them got over 200 FPS. So pretty even in Apex Legends. Fortnite was much of the same, even though a lot of people knock AMD GPUs in Fortnite. With the X12, they're really not that bad. Fortnite, you might have had just a little bit better 1% lows, but other than that, they were about the same. At 4K, we got around 160 FPS. On competitive settings, view distance on Epic, everything else around medium or turned off. And at 1440p, both GPUs got over 200 FPS. In Red Dead Redemption 2, we see the AMD GPUs take the lead again. On high to ultra settings at 4K, we got around 75 FPS with the 7800 XT and only 65 FPS average for the 4070. At 1440p though, the 7800 XT got around 115 FPS, whereas the 4070 only got around 100. And last but not least, in Cyberpunk 2077, ultra settings, no ray tracing, at 4K, the 7800 XT got 45 FPS, whereas the 4070 only got 33 FPS. And in 1440p, we got 99 FPS with the 7800 XT to 74 FPS with the 4070. Now, if we were to use ray tracing, the 4070 would probably win a few of these, probably most of them to be honest. But we just wanted to test the raw gaming performance at 1440p and 4K. Now, AMD wins the price once again. I paid $539 for this white Asus TUF GPU from AMD, and I paid $600 for the 4070. I still think both are pretty good GPUs, but AMD definitely wins the raw gaming performance here. But if this is a little too much for your taste, here's a PC that costs as much as these graphics cards do by themselves.